And after a week of a whole bunch of student suicides, another article. This time, Hong Kong prisoners get more exercise time outside than our school children. And here's the conveyor belt of human misery. Prison inmates in Hong Kong get more outdoor exercise time than primary and secondary school students. Now, a lot of people do know this. When you do exercise, you actually feel better about yourself. It not only improves your physical state, but your mental state. So it's quite odd that prisoners seem to be getting more time to exercise outside than students. It talks about how 22 students have died of suicide since the start of the academic year. Now, the academic year is coming to an end soon. So that's about, 3 a month. That's not very good. Of course, any suicide would be tragic, especially when it's children. But I digress. Now, it gives out the breakdown. Schools vary across Hong Kong, but basically, the infographic here will tell you what happens. So prisoners spend about 300 minutes a week, an hour, 5 days a week outside exercising, while local students only spend 295. So it's slightly less. International students get slightly more. Now, this is a very interesting concept that somehow, we have students that are not exercising a lot in school. Now, they compare it to a prison. Now, let's think about this comparison. What is a prison? Well, a prison is a place where people go to unwillingly. Now, of course, the people go there because they did something wrong. Okay, they broke some sort of crime, they hurt people, they defrauded somebody. And so they're being punished and segregated from the rest of society so they can't hurt people. What's a school? Well, a school is a place, currently in Hong Kong anyways, where you are forced to go, just like the prison. But think about this. 1, they're children, and 2, they didn't do anything wrong. Wrap your mind around this. Think again. Prison, place where we send people who did something bad and they're adults. School, a place where we send people that are children, but they didn't do anything wrong. But they're both mandatory. Get your mind around this. How is a school fundamentally different than a prison? I would argue that schools are generally just smaller type prisons. What do they want you to do in prison? They want you to line up. They want you to behave. They want you to accept the norms in the prison and not be troublesome. And what does this picture show? Exactly the same thing. The problem is not that students don't get enough exercise. I mean, that's going to be, it would be helpful if they had some exercise. Yeah, definitely. The exercise is good. Good for body and mind. But the fact that they are exactly the same as prisons, and I would even argue even worse, because it's mandated for so many more people, and they didn't do anything wrong and they still have to go, shows how crazy and disconnected we really are. We can't even understand that when we think we're helping people, when we think we're helping our children, we're actually sending them to small prisons. And I know it's a prison because, like I said, you have to go. And if you don't believe me, try not to send your children to school. See what will happen. So, sorry, the answer isn't more exercise. The answer is less government. The government has done a horrible job with the prison system. They've done a horrible job with the current governmental structure, all the complaints and everything else. They've done a horrible job with relations with China. They've done a horrible job with the kids. And so all you have is all these very unhappy people, and they commit suicide. This should be the expected result. So, sorry, not an exercise problem. It's a government problem. You're sending your children to tiny prisons. Thank you.